What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology Mythic Wars action. We're still in the group stages here. I'm going through some of the sick group stage games here. We've got absolutely star-studded lineup for today's series in the left-hand corner of the map. In the blue color, playing as Fushi, it is a Looki. It all rhymes. That's why we do it this way. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Ra. His name is Mosca. So, yeah, these are two incredibly high-level players. Looki has been playing a ton of random god as well as practicing and just playing a bunch of games. He's one of the kind of new up-and-comers. I don't believe he played any Legacy. He's one of those retold-only players. And I did make this sort of statement early on, in that it'll probably take a newbie, like someone who's got some RTS skill and just like learning the game, it'll probably take them around 6 months to get close. But after that, it all comes down to like that innate ability as to whether or not you can kind of crack through and catch up into like the top 8, into the top 4 even. And people have been trying to get into the top 4 for ages, and it's always a difficult one. But Looki, he is a player to watch out for. This guy is a real big up-and-comer, showing up on the ladder, showing up in tournament, doing fantastic things. Really excited to watch him. Mosca, on the other hand, he is a Legacy player, but he's one of those guys who I think he's got the talent, but I don't know exactly if he's got the time, if that makes any sense. A lot of the time when you've got the talent, the only thing holding you back is how long you can actually spend playing the game. And I know Mosca's a busy guy, but he is definitely one of those guys that he can show up and he can beat anyone on any given day. As he gets a little bit unlucky with this Auroch over here. Didn't want to attack the villager, didn't want to turn around and play ball. Again, another one of those things where I'm still waiting for a stop command. A stop command hotkey for my town center. Please. Devs, if you're out there, stop command on the town center would be lovely. Anyways. So yeah, Fushi versus Ra on Erebus. This is a map that I think people are a little bit surprised to see this one in the competitive sort of tournament here. It's an interesting map. Does spawn with a lot of weird choke points. It's very grey. I look at the mini-map and I'm trying to figure out where the trees are. You can see them on the mini-map. You know, it's grey on top of grey, which is tough. But, you know, it's a pretty interesting one, to be completely honest. So we'll see how things are going to go. But Erebus is one of those maps that pretty much spawns fairly aggressively. However, you can get really good town centers. You can see over here, there's a fantastic town center on this spot for Looki. He's got a nice gold mine back here. There's a fantastic gold mine over here for Mosca. His third town center doesn't really have anything too great. The third town center for... see, that's the second town center. The third town center for Looki is okay. It's got some bore behind it. It's got some gold mine over here, and it can wall off in the middle as well. So it's not terrible to be in on this position. As the chillin comes through, we'll clean up these shades. They are sitting here being very annoying. They can take out a scout early on, so you got to be super careful when scouting. But with the chillin out, you can take this out very quickly, no problems. And we continue along as we already see the Imperial Academy in. We did see Zhen Nu for the classical age. Going to be getting that Neja. A couple of Fushi pioneers to come through as well. As it looks like Mosca, he's gone through Da here. And it kind of looks like he's going for a town center. He's doing some weird stuff with this villager, just grabbing some wood. But we'll see if he's going to send that over there. Yes, he does. And there is a priest just getting the obelisk up. This is a prime time here or a prime opportunity for Looki to actually get some early game damage done, as the town center is going to be coming up over here. This Nijar is going to be able to not only kill off the Wadjet, but also possibly kill off the villager as well. So we do see Mosca dropping a wall down on this position here. He does manage to get that completed, as the Pharaoh to move over here, and Looki does notice that this is the case, decides, all right, let's pull back and we'll go for something else, as he is sending his Guileful up to this top position, grabbing the nice forward town center. Now, this is really, really good for him. Don't get me wrong. But in grabbing this town center, this is giving Mosca a really nice angle to attack. Sure, there's a forest here, but all Mosca needs to do is wander forward onto this gold mine, drop some migdals down here, and then he can start looking to pressure through this position or even around this position here and come in here. So there's two sort of angles to attack. But does he actually know about that? He's got no idea. He's got no scouting at the moment, so this is going to be a tough one for him. Mosca does like the late game sort of style, so he's going to be more than happy to just sit back and let things happen. We'll see how it all goes. As into the main base, the chillin' comes. There is a priest over here saying, "Excuse me, good sir, please stop setting my villages ablaze and get out of here." As he does oblige. Some other relics on the map that we haven't seen just yet. There is the Tusk of the Iron Boar. This is a huge relic for both players because both players are going to be wanting to go in to their Migdol or ballet units and spamming out the cavalry. We've also got Tusk of Dankang. I love this relic. It actually got a recent quality of life buff in that it spawns on your main town center and doesn't move to your gather points. I'm still just a little bit on the sick side. I can't stop coughing. It's really annoying. But I'm feeling a lot better, so that's good. As Looki to move over onto this side. We'll see what he's going to be up to. Still just popping in. Oh, now we see the Najjar in with the fire on top of fire. So many flames as the Pharaoh comes through. Gets some health back onto that one as the Najjar going to continue getting damage done. But this is a nice defense from Mosca. He can just simply heal everything up. Like, so long as he doesn't lose the unit completely, he can heal it back up with the priest or the Pharaoh. Completely fine. But some nice little economic damage through from Looki. Looki also gets some health back over here. It's very, very slow with just the one chillin'. I think it's only like 1 HP a second or something, but still not bad as we see some farms to come up over onto this side as Mosca actually needing to go into farms super early here. This is generally not ideal. Generally not ideal in the slightest. So we are seeing fire archers and our swordsman coming through here now for Looki. This is not exactly what I expect from the Fushi, because you don't know exactly what Mosca's doing. Mosca has built himself a barracks somewhere. I don't know if that's been scouted or not from Looki. Has he seen it? He hasn't seen the barracks. So it's very well possible that Mosca could be going for a fast heroic here. And Looki will be showing off exactly what's here now as the fire archer to get some damage done. Najjar taking some damage over here. The priest turns around to snipe down that chillin' ever so slightly. And that is irrigation pre-Q. But no rain to come down just yet. Mosca holding on to that one. He's got 12 farms only, so wants to wait on as to get some more farms up around his main town center. The problem is that his gold mines, they're not that great. One over here, one over here, one over here. He does have some spearmen out, but he's going to need to get onto a gold mine pretty shortly here. Plus, I think he wants to go heroic age. That's what it looks like. Nope, he's going barracks down. He's deciding, all right, time for a full-on classical fight. As he sees the units coming through here, Looki is kind of caught Mosca out in a big way. And there's all these farms on this position as well. That's a big deal as well there. As he's not going to be able to kill this one off. But one thing that I've noticed is that the 20 range town center versus the 16 range fire archer, I think you can actually kill off farms on this angle here. Maybe not these farms that are right next to the town center, but like I'm pretty sure you can kill off those farms on the outside with fire archers. It's pretty nasty. As a spearman looking for some raids over onto the bottom side, but Looki's got nothing down there. He's got a beautiful wall here. Over here as well, I mean, this is not ideal for him, but you could get another wall on the front. So there's not really anywhere for these spearmen to get gigantic amounts of damage. Looki paying attention, pulls the villagers away nice and quickly there. There's all those villagers to pull back into the town center for the time being. This is a really nice fight, actually, from Looki. I mean, he's fighting underneath the town center, but there's just no units here, so he's getting huge value. He's losing a couple of units to the town center, almost loses a Dow swordsman there, but he picks up a bunch of those units, and Mosca's in for some trouble here. The problem is for Looki that he doesn't notice that this gold mine is what's important. Maybe if he just comes forward and just walls off this side over here, walls off this. He can walk down this way and be pressuring over here and into the center as well, but pretty tricky to make that happen. And it kind of looks like he's just going to almost try and all in this town center here. He does have an interesting idea with Vanish, in that he could retreat back, vanish, walk in here, and just grab this position on the map so that reinforcements can't really come through. Because at the moment, the spearmen, they can't really do anything. It's just mostly these fire archers cleaning everything up. But with the help of the town center and everything else, it looks like Mosca's going to be able to survive for the time being. And Looki has to think about the next thing that he wants to do here. There's a couple of quail food to come through. Villagers moving over onto this gold mine for the time being. Good to have a cheeky little wall come up for Mosca over here. And a market as well for Mosca. There's some farms coming up now as well for Looki onto this side. I mean, he's still got, I'm surprised, he's still got a whole bunch of boars, but onto the farms for some reason. As, you know, he wants the gold mang, and we are going to be seeing Sekhmet as well. So we are moving into the next part of this game. So it's still very, very close. Villagers over here getting pushed back, but they're almost finished over there. Loses a peasant, not the biggest of deals. He does have himself that survival equipment as well, so these raids are a little bit less effective. However, one thing that Looki is doing nicely right now is he's getting all of those quailfu out, spending all that favor, getting a whole bunch of extra wood and gold to come through. But I guess the problem is he doesn't have a whole bunch of gold. He has managed to click up through gold mang now, though, as a spearman searching for damage here. The big advantage of spearmen against China is that China's army super immobile at 3.8 speed. Sure, the fire archer moves at 4 speed, so a little bit quicker, but those spearmen moving around at 5 speed does mean he gets a lot of presence on the map. And the way to kind of deal with this, whenever you've got the slow army, the way to deal with it is just simply putting walls up. And Looki has started to put those up over here, and I'm sure he's going to get some over here, and just completely wall in this map and be in a good spot. But with Sekhmet now just about in, and Looki taking his foot off of the aggression ever so slightly, this is allowing Mosca to just set up everything that he's going to want to in the center of the map. Nice little damage here. Picks up 3, 4, 5 spearmen on that misstep. That's without ballistics as well. Wild. I'd say nice play for Looki, but I feel like there's some RNG involved there. As the Migdal Stronghold coming up now in the center of the map. This is most likely going to be straight in to Chariot Archers. He's getting himself Bone Bow. He's getting himself Ballistics. Getting Heavy Spearmen as well. Up onto this side, we've got the Ballet coming through for Looki. 2 ballets actually on this side. As Looki here, he's actually... It's kind of a weird fight, right? When you're playing with like infantry units and counter archers, your opponent's got like throwing axemen or fire archers for this. In this case, what you actually want to do is pull your infantry back once the fire archers start attacking you. And that'll bring them into range of your slingers or your chariot archers or whatever. And it can be a really, really good way to go. And now the scarabs to come through. These ballets on this position here for Looki. He is going to at least lose one of them, it looks like. The army is out of position, needs to move around. So this is a big, big fight or big amount of damage that Mosca's going to be able to inflict onto Looki. He's going to be kicking himself a little bit in putting those so far forward here. Looki now moving forward. We got that forest protection to come down. The units here repairing this up pretty nicely for the time being. Mosca's got to be careful not to be on top of this forest protection for the time being. Otherwise, he's going to lose a huge amount of HP, and Looki will start winning this fight. Scarabs over here still getting huge damage on us. It looks like the ballet might actually fall. It looks like no Nijar in either. So these Scarabs just getting maximum value. Down to 100 HP, almost down. One more hit, and it does end up falling as the Scarab goes down 1 second too late there. As that forest protection now gone. Huge win for Mosca, but I mean, no, both players have still got a decent amount of military units on the map for the time being. Huge amount of spearmen getting queued out. Priest coming over here to try and help out onto this spot. Definitely want to be empowering that Migdol to try and get those units out as fast as humanly possible here. As the spearmen do manage to take out the White Horse Cavalry on the left. Chariot Archers moving forward, getting huge damage done onto those Fire Archers. They really don't do anything to units without that infantry tag. And behind all of this, Mosca says, well, I feel like I've done damage. Let me get the town center up. I'm going up for 3 town centers. Both players already at 100 villages, so there's not really any economic gain from this. It's just population. And Mosca's about to hit 200 population anyways, so it makes a lot of sense for him to be going for this one. Looki, on the other hand, he's got some catching up to do. It looks like he's trying to build some Javelineers out. Makes some sense against the Spearmen to get the Javelineers out to deal with those Chariot Archers, because the White Horse Cavalry, not so effective when you have to get through the Spearmen, but with good micro you can with the Fire Archers. Meanwhile, Spearmen down to the bottom side of the map, Mosca's got to be thinking, hey, if I got my town center up, maybe you're getting yours up. And sneaking onto this spot is really, really nice. There is also shifting sands available to boot, as the Quailfu coming down onto this side, they will get greeted by a handful of spearmen. As the White Horse Cavalry over here will end up falling. Another Migdol stronghold coming up onto this side. And the spearmen do manage to pick off one Quailfu here, as it looks like he's about to get walled in. He might lose the spearman, but there's so much delay happening, which will allow Mosca over onto this side. Now, what Looki's doing here is really smart, because if he can grab the entirety of this gold mine and secure one, well, he's already got this one, and secure this gold mine and this gold mine down here, then all of a sudden, it's 1, 2, 3 gold mines to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gold mines. So he doesn't even need to win the game anytime soon. He just needs to finish mining that gold mine and sort of hold on. Sure, there is a trade route sort of situation available that you're going to have to deal with, but it's a really, really nice, like, tactical late game strategy to play for, is just get 1 more gold mine or 2 more gold mines than your opponent, right? And that can give you the burst going into a trade route or find you a win at like the 30-minute mark, 35-minute mark. But that being said, Mosca does have himself access to shifting sands. I wouldn't be surprised to see him say, oh, I'm running out of gold. Let me break over there. He's still trying to push through onto this side. Nijar diving in, taking a lot of damage from these Chariot Archers. Gets a couple of shots off before falling here. He is now starting to look very expensive. 300 gold, 5 favor is very, very pricey for that bad boy there. But Gong Gong on the way now. So there's going to be access to Great Flood. There is also this Tornado God Power that's being held for the moment as Bronze Armor, Champion Spearman, Greatest of 50, Spear of Horus, Champion Spearman, everything coming through for Mosca. He's in a fantastic spot technologically, economically, but map control wise, he is struggling. He needs to get something down the bottom secured here. It's the catapult rolling in here, looking for a little bit of something to do. We'll see if he's going to be able to actually clean this position up. I mean, picking off the 2 ballet is going to be somewhat possible. Spearmen over here have been caught out, will get cleaned up. So a nice little win there finally for Looki. Looki does have himself already that Champion Cavalry pre-queued. I imagine he wants to go into those Elite Tiger Cavalry. As the markets all coming up in this corner here for Mosca, he's like, all right, we got to have to start a trade route. We're on to our last gold mine. There is this one here with 2,600 gold in it, so Mosca will get a little bit from that, but Luke is taking so much gold there. It's so good for him. There's now the big bad Qinglongs to come through, and the army for Looki starting to muster into the center of the map. But what is his plan? What is he going to try and do? Pushing through over here makes some sense because you cut off the trade route or you cut off the town center. He probably needs some siege to make that happen. And now Mosca says, excuse me, Mosca says if he can push through this way, that's going to drag Looki over here and give Mosca even more time. As a random Avenger sneaking through onto this position here. Those Pioneers are in position to do some damage, but it looks like they're not going to be chasing him down. He will actually find some villagers to get picked off here as the Qinglong splashing onto this position here. One priest joining in, have to pull back. The Chariot's actually pretty good at taking down the Qinglongs. These guys got 12 range, got 21 range with bone bows, so while they do have a hefty amount of pierce armor at 1333, you can take them down relatively quickly. As the Gong Gong, Great Flood coming in. A perfect usage here, straight onto this army. We see the Tornado getting dropped out. Everyone taking huge damage here. Who ends up more in pain after all is said and done? It looks like it is Mosca here having the huge dip in population as Looki's already almost back up to full pop here. Absolutely what he needed to do there. That was a little bit of, I guess, a little bit of a misplay from Mosca. I mean, Mosca probably could have hit a shifting sands there, maybe, and gotten out after everything was done and kept all of his units alive, healed them back up. But a little bit too slow on that reaction there, I think, and well, he went for the tornado and then a run away, but nonetheless, a rain coming through here to try and get more of those caravans out. Tiger Cavalry circling in onto this position, maybe going to be able to take some things out. You've got to be careful against those spearmen because they are hitting so obscenely hard. Mosca managing to defend here. His gold mine, however, just about to finish up. How many trade caravans do you actually have here? Probably about 20, 30-ish trade caravans. So starting to look pretty strong. But this is the thing, right? Because Looki's got so many gold mines left. I mean, I think he's also got a little bit of trade start. Because he's got so many gold mines left, he doesn't need to go very heavily into the trade route just yet. Which means he should be able to give himself like more population for military here. That being said, there is fortified town centers in already. Is Looki missing something? I think he's missing a house. Yes, he's missing a house. That's unfortunate. You don't want to be missing a house here. He should only be 10 population behind. But the point is that if he can just delay trade route, keep taking fights with like a lot more population or military population than Mosca, he's going to be able to trade well. And then find himself in a good spot. As this ballet over here will end up getting sniped down. Villagers finishing up on this gold mine, moving over here. Mosca still has this option of like doing some sort of a shifting sands idea here. He can shifting sands over onto this gold mine, break this down. He can break through these walls here, set up over there. But Looki's now back up to nearly full population here. He's got that final house down as well. Getting himself this tempestuous storm as well, so he can get himself those cheaper heroes out. There will be access to Jamwick as well as that Neja for very, very cheap. Also now getting himself finally that very, very important reincarnation technology from Zhennu. As Yang Jian is now in. He is getting focused down here. He dies pretty quickly if he gets focused down now. That's so much tanking though. He is still a absolute machine of a unit as the Chariot Archers doing some garrison shenanigans here. Nice little play there. There's also some Chuko Nu getting into the mix. These are really, really good versus chariot archers. They're not like a counter unit, but they're winning per cost in a straight DPS duel. But obviously they're slower and they don't have as much range, so there's some weaknesses for you to exploit if you're the Egyptian side. But Mosca sitting very, very comfortably in this spam wall to start this game off. Well, this series off, I should say. The game is well and truly started. And now we see Mosca saying, all right, time for towers. Towers plus spearmen. This should work, right? As the Tiger Cavalry to push forward. Still think you want to sort of just pull these guys back and not fight the spearmen if you can as much. Get damage done. But nonetheless, he manages to break through there. You can see that this population differential that we were talking about before is starting to take effect to some degree here. And this is why Mosca's not really able to win these fights, even though he's got more economy, even though he's got more population. As the catapult ends up falling over there. There is still a little bit of gold up at the top, but Mosca's probably not going to need that. He's at nearly 60. He does have the market empowering here, but unfortunately for Mosca, his market is going, or his trade route is going to the wrong market. Going to have to retask those. As Looki continuing to make small amounts of ground here. He does have himself these cheap machine workshop things. He's got himself that divine books technology, so he can get the cheaper upgrades there, or the cheaper attachments, should I say. Tiger Cavalry, when they get onto those chariot archers, they just do so much damage. I mean, it's almost... I feel like it might almost be better here to make slingers, just so you can target down those champion fire archers a little bit easier. I mean, the chariot archers are better at targeting down the fire archers, but at champion slinger, I think you're at close to like 19 range, so it's not that much of a difference. Nonetheless, ballast of towers to come through. There's only a little bit of time left on this like population advantage thing that Looki's got, and he needs to break through buildings, break through at the town center, get some siege into here. I'd love to see some of those axe carts coming in to help break through the Migdal stronghold. They're also really good against chariot archers. Sure, they're not the best against the spearmen, but you've got all of those fire archers and Chukonu to deal with those. As Looki to retreat back, we are seeing there's the move from Looki straight through the center. He's got all of these towers now set up. Coming in, trying to fight his way in to get in onto this trade route. If you can break through this and just get set up here, that could be lights out for Mosca as well. You look at the score differential and you just have to kind of just close your eyes to it because it doesn't mean anything. Take a look at these upgrades. It's actually, never mind. That's the big difference here. That's the big differential. The differential here and why Mosca is trading so well, I think it's just all of that lack of tech. As the spearmen throwing themselves into the meat grinder here. He's got so many units queued up that he's able to do so, and now he says, all right, time for the Siege of the Titans. You haven't managed to get that advantage with your military population, and now the economic population advantage that Mosca grabs allows him to get this Siege of the Titans out. We are seeing a somewhat desperate attempt here for Looki to grab his own, which I don't think he's going to be able to grab anytime soon. If he's just going to lose on every single front in the game, as we are seeing Mosca coming through here now. Gets a Migdal stronghold up, pushes Looki off of this gold mine. That hurts because this gold mine is now expired. He needs that 3,000 gold. As the spearmen manage to break through on the front. Catapult rolling in. Now going after the fortified town center here as well. The spearmen charging in onto those Tiger Cavalry, dominating those, and it looks like Looki maybe not able to hold on here. He's still got plenty of military population, but I don't know where it all is. Over here trying to deal with this. And Mosca is able to just move Looki around this map just so well. And it's only a matter of time for a Titan Gate to come out as well. Not to mention this town center going down. This brutally strong catapult. Does have itself Ram or Force of the West Wind there as well. As the town center falls, and Looki has to be thinking, what can I do now? Tries to get the town center back up. There is another catapult over here. And he's just going to be denying that. And Looki can't put this back up. He's just wasting resources to try this for the time being. And there's that Titan Gate. It's 2 minutes away. And not only that, on this top side, we are seeing Mosca able to actually afford to build a hefty amount of mercenary here to defend against this push. And the walls coming up. Mosca's so good at doing all of this stuff. All these towers up as well. So good at making all of this happen. And in that moment there, Looki does say, okay, game is lost. Not able to quite convert here. And he taps out. Really well played by Mosca. I think Looki had this game to some degree. I love the idea. I think he abandoned this gold mine maybe a little bit too early, but just not getting his upgrades. I'm not sure what happened, why he wasn't able to afford them. Maybe he just wasn't trading as well. Maybe forcing fights a little bit too hard. He just needed to get to that full iron. And I think his army would have been winning these fights and he would have been trading better, not having to spend as many resources on army, probably then being able to push in and take positions away from Mosca, maybe also chasing the Titan Age a little bit easier and all of that good stuff. But Mosca claims game number 1 in this best of 5 series, moving to game number 2. Hope you guys are enjoying. Make sure you're leaving comments and subscribing and all the good stuff. And we'll see you in the next one. Game number 2. Trying something a little bit different with my old recording skills. See if it works. Hopefully it does. And now we're going to be seeing Looki playing as Isis and Mosca playing as Freyr on the map Alfheim. A spicy map for Freyr. Sometimes you get a ridiculously good map. Sometimes you get a god awful map. Sometimes you get somewhere in the middle. And this is a somewhere in the middle type of map. You've got a nice third town center with back gold mines, hunt, gold mine. So if he can secure this town center, he's going to be laughing. But securing that town center is going to be really, really hard. Looki, on the other hand, all his game plan needs to be is, okay, if you want this town center, have it. You're not getting this gold mine. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to put walls up. I'm going to be blocking that off. I'm going to come over here and deny this gold mine, though this gold mine is actually really, really nice as well. Could be a very quick hill fort down over here if there's any sort of one town center aggression from Looki. But we'll have to wait and see. Obelisk up for Looki. Onto this side. If we take a quick look at the relics, we've got Archimedes' Ledger. In the middle of the map, we've got Scales of Echidna with the myth unit food wood gold cost, minus 15%. Always really, really good. They're scary for both players to actually grab that because the Draugr or Valkyrie from Freyr are equally as terrifying as, say, like a whole bunch of Sphinx or a whole bunch of Anubites. Tower of Cestus, also a really nice upgrade. People kind of sleep on this one a little bit, especially when you're playing against things like Isis, who's going to maybe Ancestors you. You can grab that you can grab that relic, and then all of a sudden... Wait, am I right on this? Oh, it's just sentry towers. I thought it was all of your projectiles. But I guess you can get watchtowers, and they're going to do a little bit of extra damage to those minions and keep you alive a little bit quicker. And then finally, we've got Hecate's Torch. Oh, that's one. That's a nice relic for Isis there. People kind of sleep on a little bit. The recast of Prosperity, you take 10% off that, down to 52. It's very cheap. Very, very cheap, and it gives you a huge amount of gold. Definitely worth at least one recast, if not two, depending on how many gold mines on the map. Excuse me, I'm just dying. Just let me die. It's fine. Now, behind all this, let's take a quick look at the build order. Looks like Mosca, he went for the temple before hand axe. Looks like he's going for a bit of a different build order. Not exactly sure what this is, but I've been hearing people are delaying hand axe a little bit. Not exactly sure what the idea is there. Whether it might just be to get a Herser out earlier, so you can get yourself, excuse me, a Herser out earlier, so you can get yourself some relics going, or what? I mean, 5 dwarves, 5 gatherers is nice. But yeah, no hand axe. On the other side here, we've got Looki. He's already got himself that Flood of the Nile tech. Already got himself a pickaxe. Going for a... Oh, that's a house, not a long house. Not looking like he is going for any villages on... Any villages on wood just yet. Which kind of indicates a 1 talent center all in. With that amount of villages on gold as well. Oh, there he goes onto the lumber camp now. This very well could just be a fast heroic of some sort. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and assume it's going to be a classical fight with barracks, but it could just be 2 Anubites, fast heroic, as an idea. So villagers on the way forward now going to grab this granary. There's probably nothing wrong with him just moving forward onto hunt early on here. When you're playing against Freyr, normally Freyr's just going to sit back and be scared a little bit early on, getting all the walls up. So you get a little bit of time to just get yourself out onto the map. You see a new bite here for Looki on the way forward. Barracks coming through for Looki as well. So he is going to be some form of... It still might be a fast heroic. He hasn't thrown the armory down, but like build one Anubite, go heroic. Maybe not even build an Anubite, but go heroic age. Makes a lot of sense. See the walls coming up over here as well. Trying to secure this gold mine. This is a hard part for Freyr, right? Like, if you can see, if we just get into the mind of what Mosca's thinking right now, he's seeing nothing. He's got to be like, okay, it could be mass barracks units, so I can't move outside my base and build a hill fort. It could be he sees a 1 spearman. It could be a fast second town center already. It could be a classic. It could be like a semi-classical fight, fast heroic. There's actually a lot of different things that it could be. And yeah, Mosca is just like, I'm going to just get a town center back here because I'm that terrified. This town center is hot garbage. This is not the town center he wants. There's like no problem for him to just wander over here, drop this town center and be happy. We see an armory up for Looki. So Looki has got this planned out to a T. He is saying, I'm faking a classical fight with just a handful of spearmen. And I'm going to hit you so hard with my fast heroic. He's actually going through Sobek as well. So it's going to be either Pitsukos or he's going to go straight to the Mythic Age. A fast Mythic here makes some sense, considering how Mosca's playing. But then again, maybe a 2 town center fast heroic or fast mythic makes a tiny bit more sense. But anyways, the new bite dives in. We'll be able to snipe down the Draugr there. Nice play. Gonna be able to slowly take down these walls that Mosca's put up.
Skip.
As Looki sitting in here with that Anubite, he can bounce back over it if need be, as he does do so. A couple more priests to come through. Do we see any sort of movement forward? No. Prosperity almost finished up. I'm very confused with what Luki's plan is. Game plan is here. Obviously, this is mind gaming to the nth level. He's saying, I'm not showing you my army. I'm showing you a little bit, enough to make you scared. And now he knows. Now Mosca can know. Oh, he's gone for a fast heroic of some sort here. So the villagers can move off. They've got all of that gold in now, so they can drop 2 migdols if need be. But the problem is here that Mosca can move out onto the map and maybe even just deny a decently well-placed migdol here, right? Like, I mean, he might need another couple of Herser. All the units are coming out. A couple of Pitsukos to come down. We see the Asgardian Hill Fort coming down onto this spot. Man, if Looki just drops an obelisk here, it could be very, very scary for Mosca. Does take a hot minute for the Asgardian Hill Fort to complete, as Mosca sees the migdol going up, raiding cavalry, retreating back. Will this be spotted or not? Looki does actually notice it. He sees it here. I don't know exactly how. Maybe you saw it with the Pitsukos. Anyways, Chariot Archers coming through. Mosca's Asgardian Hill Fort, 7 seconds from completion. We see 1 siege works up on the back. And Mosca just needs to buy time for himself right now. Looki is going full aggression, all in, 1 town center, full send at this point. Siege tower out. Another siege tower to come. How do you defend against this? Well, you get yourself this technology here, which he's already got. And then you just put some villagers into the Asgardian Hill Fort, and you just start shanking away. But these Pitsubek are going to be a lot of trouble to deal with. Mosca needs to move his dwarves. They've been sitting idle for a very long time. He's very focused on the defense of this Asgardian Hill Fort. But the Pitsubek are just doing so much damage here. He's throwing Axemen are an absolute waste, as we now see the Gloom Bursty here, and he needs to use it. Going to be able to at least get a little bit of damage done here. Hasn't attacked just yet. Manages to pick off 1 siege tower, going after the next one. That's a lot of damage done onto those siege towers. They're very expensive. But Mosca manages to hold on for another day, repairing up the Asgardian Hill Fort. We see the rock coming over here. Could be a locust angle. As the Chariot Archers to get the shoot and scoot down, finishing off the Gloom Bursty completely here. It's up onto this side. A little bit of a counter raid from Mosca. We have got the Plague of Serpents in to defend. Looki is playing the aggro side of things, so he doesn't have that survival equipment in to defend his villages. Probably expecting to be the one to be the aggressor here for the time being. As a cheeky little wall to come up onto this spot. And the longer Mosca can delay here, the more chances he has. But it looks like he's trying to get Heroic Age, which might work. He probably wants to go for Bragi here, is my guess on the situation. Aegir might be a good idea as well, but there's so many problems with monuments and things like that you have to deal with. The armory is now up. And it will be Aegir. Okay. Aegir, the god of choice. As the army back out, this hill fort is not going down anytime soon here. And over here we do have a cheeky little locust. That's a new bite causing some problems. But Mosca now needs to move back into his main base, as this all-in is just continuing absolutely brutally. So many raiding cavalry through. This is the hardest part about playing a defensive Norse, is getting your military buildings in. Sacking positions, delaying, getting military buildings in, getting your population through. There's a whole bunch of buildings now coming down for Mosca. He's going to drop the A gear in. He has to drop it in, but he doesn't have any units to back it up, so this is not ideal. I'm trying to just take out the siege tower push and just hold. Like, I mean, to be honest, he could just sack the entirety of this base, get over here and defend over onto this side, and then push back through. He just needs to get units out. That's the problem. Just trying to repair the town center back up, and now Looki is yet again ready to start pushing forward here. There's the thrown accident to go down. Petsabek getting damage done from afar here. Huge damage. You've got the Draugr in as well to help out as the town center just about to fall. Still making these throwing axemen is not ideal in the slightest. There's not a single infantry unit in here. As the rock giant comes through, taunts up. That taunt only works on human units. It does not work on siege units. You can't make the siege tower angry. Funnily enough, if it did taunt the siege units, that would probably be a bad thing for the rock giant because he's got such low crush armor. The siege towers actually counter the rock giant. As Looki has just done all the damage in the world, and Mosca, in that moment, says the game is done, taps out. What a strategy here from Looki. I think that Mosca had the ability or the path to, I call it the path to victory. There was a path to victory here for Mosca. Obviously, we can see it as the observer. We know what's happening. We know he's one town center. We know that you've got a villager advantage here. But realistically, whenever you know your opponent's on one town center, when you know they're attacking you really, really hard on that one town center, trying to kill you, you just want to make sure you're delaying. You can sack a town center. It doesn't matter. Don't lose any villages. Don't lose any military. And delay until you've got yourself the tech, the numbers, and then you push through, you clean up everything, and you're good to go. But a well-played game there from Looki, leveling the series 1-1. We'll get into game number 3 now. And we move ahead into game number 3. Now on the map Midgard, and I'm a fan. I'm such a fan. In the left-hand corner of the map, playing as Thor, it's Looki. A man after my heart right now. I'll tell you why a little bit later. His opponent today in the red color is Mosca playing as Hades. A man not after my heart after a win in this game. Why do I bring this up? Well, a lot of people are under the impression that this map is really, really good for Greek. Now, I agree wholeheartedly. Greek is really good here. However, Greek's had a lot of nerfs recently. Such to the point that I don't think it's like a significant advantage to play Greek anymore. At all. Like, I think that it's, at best, there's some other gods that have got really, really good chances against Greek here, especially like Zeus is your powerhouse. Hades is another really powerful god. But Poseidon also not bad here as well, to be honest. But I think there's some other gods that have got some really, really good play on this map. Thor being one of them. Why Thor's so good? Well, Thor's got access to, he's got 2 options. He's got Freya, and he can go in for some really nice early Valkyrie raids with Forest Fire and things like that, putting a ton of pressure onto the Hades player while doing whatever he wants behind it. That works because you've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 favor, 17, 18 favor in your main base. Sure, you're killing off all the food here and probably not even eating it. Maybe you're eating the boars, but you can have all the food and come from the docks anyway, so you don't even need the food. So you can go for the early Valkyrie against, say, Hades for sure, right? Or you can go in for Forseti and make yourself Berserks, make yourself Thrown Axeman and all that good stuff. I'm probably on the side of saying Thor probably wants to do some Freya shenanigans here against Hades. Maybe it's different against Thor, but against Hades, I'm on the side of the Freya here. So we'll see what Looki's going to go for. Looki does make the, I'm going to go ahead and say the classic mistake of shooting down the ball with his talent center. That means instead of getting 3 favor, he got 1 favor. So that does hurt. The only real way to make this work early on is to actually shoot the ball down with the first 3 dwarves that pop out, drag it in, and then drop over onto the gold line or over onto the wood line or whatever you're doing with your build order. And that way you can come over onto the food a little bit later. Sure, you lose a little bit of food to decay, but you get the favor, which is really all you care about. And that's if you're going for that strategy, by the way. Anyways, fisher ships starting to come out. Over onto this side here for Mosca. Getting himself up the temple, doing all the good things. If we take a look at the map, there's a huge amount of gold. This isn't exactly what you want to see with Thor. So, to some degree, you roll the dice here if you're playing Thor on this map. Because if you get yourself the 4 gold mine Midgard, you're doing these ones with Thor. Because all you have to do is say, all I got to do, survive, and I win. Because I've got Dwarven Mine. That's literally all you got to do is just survive. Absolutely wild. So, we'll see how things go for our man Looki in this game. Because there's no survive and win because there's just too many gold mines. Hades is going to get to that late game power army. Maybe Thor can compete. Maybe Thor can't compete. I actually have no idea. And we are actually seeing Freya. So, I love it. I love the Freya pick here. I think it makes a lot of sense. You do miss out on the 4 steady Hall of Thanes for your infantry units, like going up to 5 speed for the Berserks is nice. Pushing your Herso speed up as well is nice. Huskarl speed going up a little bit is nice, but you're probably a little bit more wanting that speedy raiding cavalry. Or even speedy Jarls as well later on. But nonetheless, all the docks are now up, and yeah, it's really, really important if you're playing as Norse here to just have a really good build order. So let's have a quick look at what Looki's managed here. So he's advancing, he's getting himself what looks to be 4 docks, and unfortunately, he's only got 12 fishing ships. This is not what you want. To put it absolutely bluntly, you want to have 15 to 18 fishing ships when you hit the classical age, and have yourself purse scenes coming in immediately, which Looki is missing out on. Mosca, on the other hand, he's grabbing that immediately. He's got a whole bunch himself. Let's have a quick look. 6, 9, 12, 15. So he's got the 15 fishing ships. That's enough. 18 is ideal, but, you know, maybe he doesn't notice that these ones are up here. As the Valkyrie skimming around here, going to be charging in onto this position. We do have the Ajax to come through here. As he drops the forest fire, that's going to be a villager kill, most likely. Snipes one down, gets out of there. This is something that I swear, I'm telling people, forest fire at the moment is pretty much a guaranteed villager kill. So, what are you supposed to do about it? Where's the counterplay? I don't really know. I don't think there is any significant counterplay. I think you're just going to lose a villager. You just have to accept it. It is a classical age god power. Don't get me wrong. Some other classical age god powers do a lot more later in the game than at 1 villager. But there's this like, I don't know, there's this like stigma. So I see some Rammy galleys here. There's like this stigma or something. This like feeling of what a god power is allowed to do and what a god power isn't allowed to do. And for some reason, I don't, this is my own personal bias, so I'm going to throw it out there. You guys let me know what you guys think, but my own personal bias says not okay to kill villagers right away. Part of the reason is because it's just such a boring way to use a god power. So what I would love to see, and we'll see if something like this happens, I would really love to see Forest Fire getting a boost and getting a heavy negative multiplier versus villagers. So you can still use it to get damage done onto villagers. If you're getting a big raid onto them, fine. But yeah, I want to see it doing huge damage to army. And then you can start toning it down if it's too good. I don't mind. Give that little bit for the first bit. I want to see some interesting forest fires. Let me get excited about something for once. As the nice micro here from Mosca dodging around. With these Pentaconters doing a lot of good damage. We are seeing Aphrodite on the way. So a very, very technical game here from Mosca thus far. He knows that he's not going for any sort of all-ins. He's not trying to kill Looki just yet. Just trying to get that heroic age in as fast as possible so he can get access to this technology, which boosts his food income up by 75%. That's the whole reason here for this fast heroic. It's just to get to that next thing. He could be spamming units out if he wants to, but just get to that next little bit and see what happens. There's Skadi coming through now for Looki, which it's going to be a big help. Probably better to do this one than to go for Bragi. Reason being is that you get the stronger throwing axeman. You get a little bit more range, so you can stay away from Peltas a little bit easier. There's the Pentaconter over here. We'll end up getting sniped down. I'm still seeing Pentaconter raids from Mosca. Doing a great job of just distracting here. Looki actually not paying attention on this one. We'll be dropping a fishing ship. Not ideal. There's more units piling out here. As Looki has hit the heroic age, he doesn't need to leave his base just yet. He can just drop a dwarven mine, have another 3,000 gold to mine, or just drop over onto wood for just a little bit, and then go from there. There's a marker coming through for Mosca. If this was Legacy here, I probably would have expected to see like a Mythic Age coming in from Mosca already. But he's spamming units out at the moment. So no like Fortress up or anything like that. Just trying to contain. And we do actually see Dwarves already out onto this position as a Great Hall comes through. Is he going to drop the Dwarven Mine? No. I'm a bit surprised. I think this is one of the big advantages of playing Thor here. Because it's not just that... Sure, if you can save for the Mythic Age, it's better, but getting that gold boost, no walking time, and a mining boost. Those are all the really big things. But nonetheless, out onto this side, we do have the Skylar to come through here. There is a Kraken somewhere, moving up to the top side of the map here. Has to get that one back over onto the bottom side to deal with all of this. There's over here the raiding cavalry. Retreating back. And just upgrades coming through. Both players playing so obnoxiously safe right now. I love it. So much safety. Walls coming up onto this spot. Trying to secure the gold mine. There's still... Well, the gold mine has expired for the time being. Checking out town centers and things like that. It's never a bad idea to just be over there and dropping like a building down onto this just so you have some sort of idea if there's a town center there or not. As the raiding cavalry into the main base, just looking for any sort of kills he can get. Doesn't have himself any upgrades on the raiding cavalry with the thundering hooves or anything, but it's got heavy upgrades, so that's more than enough. Also, the other thing we haven't really touched on is the Dwarven Armory. Now just getting those upgrades in, so his villagers are starting to get some sort of a villager advantage here as well. With Thor is a big deal. And Mosca just sitting back, waiting, watching for the time being. I would love to see like a hill fort getting thrown up, but Looki says no to that one just yet. As all of these hoplites are out, there's a hefty amount of throwing axemen though. But I think this is going to be a pretty good fight for Looki moving forward here.
Skipan.
So the house is coming down. We'll see what can happen here for Looki. Losing some of these things does hurt. Realistically here, Looki could probably take this fight. I think there is going to be a curse that gets dropped down. But those Peltas are starting to get some good damage. So probably has to drop Frost here, and he will indeed do that. There is going to be a restoration, however, to come through. Raiding cavalry onto the back here, trying to snipe down some hoplites, some stray hoplites as the Peltas to come through as well. Nice little play here from Looki, just to get a little bit of extra damage done. If he can snipe down those Peltas, that'd be absolutely huge as well, but he's not going for it just yet. How many buildings does Looki have? He's got himself 3 longhouses, 4 great halls, and he's got the hill fort. He just needs to be spamming units out right now. Armory upgrade-wise, already up to bronze mail. If we have a look over onto the other side, full copper in for Mosca, so it's pretty close. There will be a restoration to come through as well. So I guess if Looki can stay near the hill fort, restoration comes down, garrison into the hill fort, that can be a way forward. Raiding cavalry looking for some sort of a raid over onto this position. As Mosca is throwing axeman, getting targeted down by the Peltas here. Great control thus far, trying his absolute best to make this work, but Mosca 2 on top of it for the time being here. There's now some berserks to start coming through. Skull as well. Throwing Axeman managed to pull back. There's a huge population advantage. The villagers can just move back into the main base for the time being, though. We are seeing a fortress coming up, though, for Mosca. He wants Mythic Age. He wants to put an end to this game. Quick smart here. The house is going down. And there's that Dwarven mine into the main base. We were talking about it before. But allowing Looki just a little bit more of survivability in this game. But Artemis, that's going to be scary because the town center just dies. So you need something to deal with that. It's some Valkyrie now moving out. Town center coming down for Mosca as well. Looki still doesn't have himself this upgrade. This is, without a doubt, this is the reason why Looki's having so much problems. So many problems. Without a doubt. You can point to, we'll go into the post game after this and we'll see exactly what's going on here. You can point to it was the curse, it was the restoration. There's still a restoration available, by the way. It was the curse, it was a bad frost. Whatever you want to say, it's not that. This is all economically speaking. Missing out on that one tech is everything. Everything and more on this map. But nonetheless, Looki still waiting, watching. He's got to take a fight soon. He's got these berserks out. They don't have any specific upgrades, but they're going to be a much better frontline tank than the cavalry. As he charges forward, able to actually take down a hefty amount of those Peltas here. This is exactly what he needs. As the Nemean line turns around, huge stun onto everything here. You have to make sure you're actually attacking after the stun finishes. Otherwise, units are going to sit there being a little bit idle as Restoration gets dropped down. The Frost Giant freezing up the Nemean line there, but the units up just spamming out for Mosca in a gigantic way here. And the earthquake comes down and Looki says, all right, I'm out. He tried with Thor. I think he was... Ooh, how did that Skylar do that? Anyways, he tried with Thor. Not getting that purse scene, I think, really, really hurt. I don't know when he started losing fishing ships because I wasn't paying attention there. I'm sorry. But you take a look at all resources collected. This doesn't happen against Norse. You don't fall behind like this with Norse. Especially when you take a look at this. There's a villager lead for a little bit, but then overtaking as well. Let's take a look at the food. And the food differential will tell the story. Oop, that's the wrong button. Just a hefty advantage here for Mosca. And I think if I think if Looki had just had that upgrade, this game would have been completely different. We would have had a faster heroic age. We would have been able to take a fight earlier, even be able to force the curse and then force out a restoration as well. Probably even hold water a little bit easier because less resources need to be spent on land. A whole bunch of different stuff could have gone for the wayside of Looki. More food income for Krakens as well. There's a lot of stuff. Anyways, game 3 for Mosca here. We'll move into game number 4. See if Looki can bring it back. Force to game 5. Hope you guys are having a fun time, and we'll get that next game going for you. Alrighty, game number 4 begins. And Looki now picks Zeus. Mosca on the bottom of the map picks Thor. No, that's Odin. That's Odin, guys. It's Odin. Don't get it twisted. It's Odin. So we got Zeus versus Odin on the map Marsh for game number 4. Looki back up against the wall. Needs to get this win. Needs to get this win with a chance to win game 5. Relics on the map. Let's see what's happening here. We've got Pandora's Box. Huge. We've got Chariots of Sibel. Huger. I know that's not a word, but it's fine. If you've got Rhea's Crown, decent, not bad. On the other side, we've got Tusk of Dankang, nice, but not necessary on this map because there's so much hunt. Hecate's Torch, really, really good actually for Odin here. If you see that one really early, it might be an idea to just say, all right, let's leave this hunt completely. Let's just move up here, eat all this water buffalo, and then herd the deer into your main base and just start great hunting it underneath this position. And then you just got hunt for forever. Like, hunt absolutely forever. This is only a 30-second recast time, but 25 favor. It's pretty cheap. You probably want to do that anyways, to be honest. I think it's a pretty sneaky move. Nonetheless, one more relic here. We've got Dwarven Calipers, making the siege weapons a little bit cheaper. So, Odin versus Loki. Odin versus Zeus. Loki's Zeus. Haven't really seen a whole lot of this one. I do think that this is a pretty interesting matchup. Kind of difficult for both players. You're going to have a lot of like army cutting ideas from or reinforcement cutting ideas from the Odin. From the raiding cavalry sort of thing. You want to kind of get in there around the army where your opponent is. They're trying to pressure. You're killing off the reinforcements, and then you collapse in onto the Zeus army. Whereas the Zeus army wants to try and deny all of that while also getting to their big power army to just break through. So there's it's a difficult one for the Odin, probably a little bit more challenging, but definitely a possible thing to make happen to get an advantage to win a game here as well. Not only that, it is Marsh, so a really, really good map for Odin normally because of the high hunt. So the question is going to be, are we going to see like Athena and Minotaur here because of the Pandora's Box, because of the Chariots of Sibyl? Or are we going to see Hermes because of that as well? You can go into Mass Centaur, which can be really, really scary. However, Valkyrie are really good against the Centaur if you do it correctly. Especially Valkyrie plus raiding cavalry. I think this is kind of slept on a little bit whenever Norse players sort of have issues with these Centaur. Obviously, if something gets to the point of out of control, it's really, really tough. Don't get me wrong. But early on, a Valkyrie plus a raiding cavalry is lights out for a chariot archer, for a Centaur. A Valkyrie or just a whole bunch of raiding cavalry is also lights out for a Centaur because you just move faster, especially a Zeus Centaur. But Pandora's Box gets picked up. Going to be loving that. As the Raven scouting around.
Yo.
And Mosca going to be enjoying his own Hecate's Torch here as well for some cheaper god power usage. Might want to go through Njord here actually. You can get some cheaper walking woods or something like that. Military Academy to come through as well. As the Centaurs are now starting to come out. Another idea here. Oh, there's that great hunt we were talking about. If he just leaves it there, you can come over onto the back, grab these hippopotamus. Is that what he's going to do? Does he see them there? He does. Another idea here with the Valkyrie is to just leave it inside of your temple. Pop it out when the Centaur comes close. Probably going to get bolted anyways. But yeah, you can go for that as well. as the villagers to come over here, trying to grab the hippopotamus over onto this side. Double Great Hall for the time being. I imagine it's going to be hoplites. There's the Herser coming through. And this is going to be actually really tough. I didn't really expect Mosca to leave this gold mine so out in the open. You probably could have used both of those great halls around to make it a little bit easier. Oh, the dwarf gets sniped down as well there. A stray farm on the middle of the map as well. Brutal. Centaur's getting damaged. And the dwarf almost falling as well as the Herser now starting to run forward. Mosca getting absolutely bullied at this moment here. As the Valkyrie still just sitting over onto this side, making sure nothing goes by that way. And just continuous pressuring with those Centaur. And there's more Centaur coming. Take a look at how cheap these guys are. Just for 11 favor, 180 wood. Oof. That's a longhouse coming up for Mosca. Centaur back in yet again. Dwarves pulling back. Still just trying to snipe those as best as he can. No, not able to get in there. Has to pull back. Nice defense. The longhouse on the front. Double longhouse. He has to go in to throw an axe in here to actually deal with those hoplites. But this is such an interesting legacy strat. Brought to you by Ulysses, actually. I think he was one of the first to really make this one known, going against Odin with Hoplite Centaur. Really tough to deal with. I think it's a little bit easier on, or a little bit more doable on Retold than it was on Legacy in terms of defending this strategy. But still going to be a big pain for Mosca nonetheless. He's defended nicely already. He's only lost one villager, I think. Longhouse is coming down in a big way. More raiding cavalry in as he's going to start looking for some raids here to boot. As Looki now looking for some really, really big damage. Another Valkyrie on the way as well. Did he get bolted? No. The Valkyrie's just hanging out onto this side now. Sometimes people forget that they can bolt this. Oh, I love this little usage here from the Valkyrie, healing up all those low HP villagers. There's one longhouse going to be getting sniped down. Mosca not really able to do much. He is raiding over here, gets one villager. Go for another one potentially. It's got to be careful. The villagers can just turn around and start shanking here. Good control as the army pushes forward. Centaurs getting brought back to try and deal with this, meaning that the hoplites are out in the open. And there's that damage to come through. Snipes one. Raiding cavalry as as Mosca going to be just retreating back. Nice little defense from that for the time being. As I mean, what units do you build here? You kind of have to go throwing axemen, Herser, Valkyrie, and raiding cavalry to some degree, I guess. But you don't make the raiding cavalry. You don't have to overmake them. They just have to be enough to be able to just dive in onto those Centaur. Just Looki retreating back. Mosca staring down that army composition there. Nice. There's 5 Centaur now. Now it's time for Sylvan Lord. This boosts up HP as well, but more importantly, that range to come through. And this will be interesting right now. With this many Centaur, how much damage does he actually do onto the Valkyrie? He manages to decide, all right, I'll bolt one of those. Because why not? Build another Valkyrie at this point. There's the Herser sneaking through. Oh, he almost decided to take an attack. They probably could have actually picked off that low HP Centaur, but not happening just yet as the villagers back into the main base here. What did he get an upgrade? I have no idea what he just bought. I swear he had more favor than that. I'm going crazy. Houses coming down onto the back side. Did he get this upgrade? No. No? Okay. Centaur around to the bottom. Looking for some villagers to snipe over here. As Mosca's spidey senses tingle, he says, I'm moving up onto this side. Valkyrie and raiding cavalry off here as these villagers will spot this one. Mosca losing one. Nice snipe for Looki as he's going to just bail out on that. If he sees those Centaur on the back there, though, he can definitely think about pushing forward and hitting these guys. Just sending the Herser back for the time being. I don't know. So hard to play this. He's going to be grabbing Rumnir. If he gets Rumnir, he can make some Goatee. At least Goatee going to be somewhat of a decent usage against those Centaur pole marks. He did have the Raven there to spot the Centaur going in and out. Was the Herser desperately trying to get it? No, too slow. 4.8 speed, too slow. Stay away from me. These hoplites come over. The Valkyrie and Centaur sort of high-fiving. Oh, look at that damage there onto the Valkyrie. Only 4 shots from it, but almost down to a quarter of its HP. But another Valkyrie could potentially come out, and then you can just heal it back up. Which would be the idea. Is a couple of Goatee now out. This is really good now for Mosca if he's in good position. He just has to set them up so the Centaur can't poke with a throw an axeman behind, and then you're good to go. The problem is he's going to move over onto this gold mine and going to have to set up beautifully here. He's got a nice wall coming up over onto this side in preparation. An armory as well. The idea is of potentially going to the heroic gauge for a frost or something like that. There's more Goatee to come out. Retreating away from those Centaur, not ideal. Gets one shot off. Misses with the rest of those, though, as the Centaur manages to pull out of range. But Looki is setting his grips up in this game now. Getting some Hippias action. A little bit wild there. I would have expected maybe going heroic age into bronze with some potential Peltas, but the Hippias idea makes some sense. As Mosca wandering forward here. He says, I'm ready for a fight. Let's go. He does have Forest Fire. As he's going to be starting to snipe down those Centaur on the back. Good pullback micro with the throw and axeman. But the heroes have to get out of here. This is not a fight for Mosca to be taking. It looks like the unit's too strong. And Mosca probably needs some herdmen out at the moment as well to try and deal with those Hippias, because the Hippias are actually absolute tank of a unit, it seems. As the dwarves over here are going to get pushed off immediately. The Pegasus is spotting those beautifully there. Great vision, great control from Looki. As the dwarves, one going down, villager going down, ox cart going down, and then retreating back, not overcommitting to anything. Skadi, however, has managed to get clicked up. I'm always astounded by this idea of push forward and go heroic age. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you're going to go heroic age, maybe you can sort of push forward or whatever to fake, but if your opponent's ever going to look like they want to engage, you just got to run. There's a Centaur yet again pushing in, get more damage done onto those Odin throwing axemen. As the Valkyrie comes through, going to be a little bit of help against those Centaur for the time being here. This is going to be a tough one to hold. Skadi almost through, running around this position here. And Looki does pull out, loses one Centaur. Maybe the second one? Not quite. And there's the heroic age in. A couple of hoplites in the main base going down. Villager differential is now 39 to 51. Luki's got a significant advantage. Dwarves sneaking up to the top side, but Looki is not falling for this nonsense in this game. As he is going to be attempting to sneak out of here. He sends one villager back. And Looki hunting. Up. Looki finding. Looki no longer hunting. Mosca on the retreat here. Can he get back out? There's a couple of units here that can deny the villagers from retreating all the way back home. But this is a huge amount of damage for Mosca to be suffering here. We've also got Dionysus queued up. As at least now the gatherers can move over onto this gold mine to get a little bit more. There's 88 favor in the bank for Valkyrie. Or for Frost Giant or something. But Mosca needs to get huge value out of a Frost here. I don't know how he's going to be able to get it. He's about to get surrounded. He does drop the forest fire onto this one. That's huge, and Looki has to respect it ever so slightly. He pulls back. But it doesn't matter. Retreating into the forest fire, trying to get as much damage as he possibly can. Love the usage, but it's just... You have to have a really big army there to force the army of the Greek player to be stuck on a forest or something. Such a tough one to get max value out of, I guess. As the village is getting pulled forward for Mosca. One last ditch effort. He knows he can't really cast Frost because there is ceasefire. No need to click ceasefire right away. Wait till there's like 15 seconds remaining and then click ceasefire. As the village is coming forward, dropping an ox cart down. Or you don't even have to wait until 15 seconds. Wait until 0 seconds and then click ceasefire and run away. Or just sit here and take the fight afterwards because you got so many more units. And there's a bronze. Oh. Villagers versus a boar. A frozen boar. You can't kill that one. 99% pierce armor. Oof. But there's the bronze. Or the Dionysus in. Units now moving forward for Looki. You got to be careful with this one. Wait at least a second for Frost to finish up and then click bronze. Otherwise, you might not get your bronze off there. You can't bronze a frosted unit. But nonetheless, Looki does manage to successfully win game 4, forcing a game number 5 here, ladies and gentlemen. What a time to be alive. I think Mosca sort of, the big misplay was just walking out here while trying to get heroic age. He could have just sat in his base, played a little bit more safely, got some more walls up, and gone heroic age, and then he probably would have been okay to start looking for some fights after that. But, you know, I got omniscience, he doesn't. I probably would have made a similar mistake. Anyways, well played here from Looki, and we'll get into game number 5. Game number 5, one more game in this series. Looki now with the Shenong, and Mosca with his main Poseidon. He's managed to snap it up, living the dream. One thing that, I know we did see an Isis. Maybe Ra, was Ra? No, we did see a Ra. Maybe Set was banned. I wonder what else was banned here. Actually, I'm so interested in what the draft was for these guys that I am going to make the effort right now. Open it up. And let you guys know. I really want to see it. This one here. The draft. Okay, I've got it. As it's loading up. Okay, so the bans were Set and Looki from Mosca. Mosca banned Looki's Looki. He also first picked Poseidon, of course. Absolutely wild. Anyways. It's Ghost Lake. Let's talk about this. It's a 1 gold mine Ghost Lake with 1, 2, 3, 4 gold mines. I basically played on this map. I played on this map with Poseidon against Tiger Boss and his new Wa, I believe. So a little bit different, but kind of similar. Like Looki, he's going to go through Chi Yao. I think this is the correct play. I think you need to do this as Shenong. The problem with Shenong is he doesn't have access to Golmang. And having no Golmang means no boosted cavalry. It's kind of like Kronos going for Contarius, right? It hurt a little bit because you don't have Thea. I still think that, you know, the White Horse Cavalry are pretty good. It's worth building them if the situation calls for it. But oftentimes you don't really need to do that with Shenong. It's better just going for those infantry units and a whole bunch of myth units to make your army really, really strong. Especially given you've got this free myth unit summoning thing. He gets a chillin', which is nice. And he is wanting... Oh, isn't this dangerous? He's pre-queued Chi Yol, but do you really want to pre-queue that? I don't know. This build order is... I haven't seen anyone actually trying to do this build order with Shenong. I haven't seen anyone trying to do it. The idea is that in throwing 2 farms down straight away, you're actually able to save a little bit of food in your main base. So or your food will expire a little bit later in your main base. You got a little bit more time to play with. And when you're playing against someone like a Poseidon who wants to advance really fast, like we are seeing from Mosca here, you're not going to be able to do any damage because all the food is just sitting in the main base and not doing anything. One thing here that I don't particularly like from Looki is that these farms, when doing this build, probably should be on this silo. On this silo here, you put a granary on the side, you put a farm on this side of the gold mine, farm on this side, and then the villagers mining, or the quail food mining the gold mine, are invisible. And the villagers on the farm are invisible as well. So you can't really get any damage done either. But nonetheless, we've already got the Atalanta coming out, we've already got the Centaur moving across the map. Chi Yo is coming through. There's a Pioneer out as well. Got a house coming down onto this side. Could be worthwhile throwing another 2 farms down over here as well onto this wood line, just to say, hey, there's nothing here. You can't attack me. That works as well, I think, to some degree. As the classical age now in. And I imagine we're going to see some sort of a barracks getting thrown down, but it looks like Mosca is going for a second town center of some sorts. And the military camp for Looki. So he does have to be careful here. He's sending out the Yatsu, trying to spot some stuff here. He does jump onto that Centaur here quickly. The Atalanta is quick to move. Probably would have been better off if he'd spotted the Centaur to actually just say, oh, let's just not go close to it. Because maybe Mosca would have not seen it. But he does spot the town center going up. And now he can just retreat back away. Take a little bit of damage from the Centaur here, but he can do his little teleport move and get back to safety in the main base here for Looki. He needs to think about either going for a big all-in, which could work, or he's got to go for the heroic age, or he's got to go for a second town center as fast as possible. Now, the good thing about your opponent going for a naked town center is often they go for the back town center. Whereas if you're playing the Shenongs, if you're playing this, the kind of build a couple of units sort of angle, you get the nice town center. Move forward, grab this one, or move forward, grab this one. Doesn't really matter. Both are pretty good. So units moving across the map. We've got a stable coming up for Mosca. Generally, the unit composition to go for here is going to be some sort of stable archery range against the classical age China. And we see another military camp to come down. And there's also this technology to get as well for those bad boys as... I mean, this makes some sense, actually. If you build a handful of halberdiers, that's going to make your opponent think you're going in for halberdiers. Right? Obviously. Which means you go, all right, I need my archers. But then if you just go for a whole bunch of Dao swordsmen, and maybe even get out some Javelineers as well, then all of a sudden those Toxotes aren't that effective, and these guys have got some real heavy pushing power. But Luke has got to be careful not to just give this stuff away. The dodges. Look at him go. He is an immortal. These are the immortal halberdiers. There's the wooden gate for Mosca. Going down. Following all of this, Mosca, he is literally just pumping units. He's got so much food in the bank. What's he using that food for, though? That's the question. I mean, at some point, you just have to accept that you've made a mistake here. Pull all these villagers off, chuck them elsewhere. And then figure it out after. He's moving over onto this gold mine right now. I think the plan here for Looki is a good plan, but it's a very, very simple plan. And that is going to be gold staff. The gold mine here for Mosca, 1,600 gold remaining. If he can come up onto this position, drop some buildings, come over here, drop some buildings. Can even get the watchtower out of that of those buildings as well if he needs to or wants to. But at the moment here, Mosca not really losing anything just yet. No villager losses. Main base going to be under attack. We are seeing a little bit of an attack here with the Yatsa. That's getting thrown away though, unfortunately for Looki. I think he picked off a villager, but that's only going to be so important. Manages to snipe one villager here. Always good. And he's going to be hitting this gold mine in the main base. Gigantic move here as now ceasefire gets dropped. Okay, so now Looki has got an option here. He's got rid of the ceasefire. So he could go Heroic Age right now. And he could go for Fey Beasts and try and make that work. Or he can just keep pumping units and see what happens. Does he have an armory up? No armory. This is another way to play. It's like, okay, instead of going for a full tech and spending all the resources in the world on going to the Heroic Age, we just get ourselves the full copper. While spamming everything out. There's Mosca looking for a potential fight here. He's got to be so careful with it though. Looks like he's actually going for a raid. He has spotted this these villagers out into this position completely naked. Losing villagers here is really, really bad. So he's sending some units over to defend the gold mine for the time being, but he needs to get some like halberdier out there or something as a defender. Just managed to snipe one Hippias here. As the villagers will immediately be getting targeted down. Survival equipment on the way. Loses one villager before. Great control pulling those Dow swordsmen away. As Looki trying to go for the town center actually, but nice play from Mosca. As all of those Hippias end up falling. It looks like, yep, they all do end up going down. I'll actually take out the Pegasus here. Population differential still in favor of Looki. Still in a good spot. Still ready to get this gold staff going. 300 gold left in the main base here for Mosca. The problem for Mosca is... Oh, sorry, not for Mosca. For Looki is he doesn't have really have any of those Javelineers. He's got 4. I think he needs a hefty amount more here just to deal with the Toxotes. Meanwhile, up onto this spot, we do have the villagers sneaking the gold mine just that little bit earlier. This is what I was talking about where I thought... Get some buildings up there nice and early if we're going to be going for that sort of a gold staff. It's the town center to get targeted down. Hippias charging through here. These Dow swordsmen do hit like a truck here. As the villagers pop out. Some Toxotes swinging around onto the back. Villagers need to get sniped down with this attack, however. As all of the militia pop out here. This is completely fine for them. Over onto this side, the villagers turning around, shanking down. We've got 1 Dow swordsman, 2 Dow swordsmen. The Quailfu getting some damage. As the archers fighting against archers over here. Not ideal. We've got the lightning weapons as well to snare everything up, to stun it all up. Oop. As the Theseus is kind of somehow just surviving. Now he's going to get targeted down. Looki needs to move up to the top side of the map. He's in a great position right now. An absolutely great position. He's got the town center back to 1. Mosca, however, still has got a villager advantage here. As the 10-pin bowling comes through. Looki cleaning up units very, very quickly here. And he drops the farms down! He's got them staying invisible tech in the main base. I don't actually know how good this is. If he doesn't win right on this moment here, however, this is going to be a big, big problem for him. He's still got a hefty advantage. He might actually have to delete it. I'm pretty sure you can move forward and steal this with a villager. As the Javelin is getting some nice damage in, sniping down all of those Toxotes on the back. Mosca looking like he's not quite able to hold everything here. And now Looki to retreat back, but what's he going to do? Does he go up to the main town center? I guess. Cleaning up a tower over here. He's going for a town center himself on the right-hand corner. He's done the damage. He's done what he thinks he needs to do. Hippias raids yet again coming through. You've got to be so quick to defend this. I still think just like a handful of halberdiers just to be sitting on this is completely fine. Nice little snipe here onto the units. Is up to the top side of the map. He's going to go. He knows there has to be villagers here. There's none down the bottom. Sniping units up here. Mosca doing his best to try and just delay. But those Javelineers here just so good for the time being. As Looki pulls back out, still not moving up to the top side. The villagers are actually bailing up onto this gold mine over here. Very sneaky from Mosca. And Looki is not... I mean, at the moment, I don't think it matters. I don't think time is on Mosca's side. He can't just sit back and wait. He has to make something else happen here. Looki's at full population. He's moving through, checking the gold mines, moving up onto the top side here. He knows there's a gold mine here. He's not checking it out just yet. He's moving up here. He's going to be knowing very, very shortly as the villagers make a bail. They just make it out of here, but there's so much line of sight for the moment. He sees the villagers migrating across the map. This is the sort of time, however, that Mosca needs, but Mosca's not getting any gold while he moves these villagers. And Hippias now moving over here. Going to pick off a couple of villagers. Mosca gets himself, or Looki gets himself a Tautier. Villagers dying over here as well. Nice little find for Mosca. Every little bit counts at the moment. Every little bit of damage. He steals the 2 farms as well. And Mosca's wasting time on this top position, cleaning up the stable here. All the quail from the world over onto this position. And Mosca's just doing so much damage with these guys. He's turning around and actually having to fight this. Do see a couple of those halberdiers queued up as the units to retreat back. Potentially some towers here wouldn't go astray. Both players struggling for resources for the time being. No gold income for Mosca at the moment. 0 gold at the moment. He's got a market though. He can sell. He's been selling food, selling wood. As the infantry units come in, the Tautier. God, he gets so much value in the classical age against Hippias. These things are expensive, man. 120 resources just to get eaten. One shot. And now Looki clicking up through Rush Shoal, trying to cement his advantage in this game. Actually, I almost want to see him just come over and grab this town center. Just get something up this top position. These Hippias in the main base here are going to be a problem. Dow Swordsmen are just not the unit to be chasing Hippias around. We see some farms coming down. Oh, just one farm. Very dangerous. Hippias around on both sides here. The villagers, I think they can repair this back up, but not going for it. Does manage to keep it alive. Nice little play from Looki there. It's up here, the militia going down. I guess Mosca's only real option right now is to pump out Centaur. He doesn't really have another one. That's, almost taken. He's getting even more damage to the tower. Yeah, so close. And town center onto the top side here, getting grabbed. As Mosca now staring down a heroic age. Shenong with a commanding advantage. He's going for the surround here. Great control. The units on the back still waiting back here. We've got a Baihu in as well. Oh, he dives. He jumps. He misses. I mean, Mosca's doing what he needs to do here. He's got to get raids in. He's actually managing to sneak a little bit of gold for the time being. And some villagers sneaking around here as well. Still surprised that Looki hasn't just got a building down on that gold mine. He is giving life to Mosca in this game by allowing that to happen. Hippias going down over here. Units into the main base. There is going to be Fey Beasts. I'm almost thinking about this going, what happens if you had drought here instead of this god power? He went for the other one, but he doesn't need it as Mosca has to tap out. And Looki, in a little bit of an upset, I'd have to say here, manages to take Mosca out 3-2 with a beautifully aggressive game 5 here with the Shenong. Mosca grabs this town center. I don't know about the town center versus Shenong, but equally a town center like this, there just wasn't anything on it. I mean, he had a granary, had some food here, I guess. Maybe if he just waited a little longer before he started trying to take fights, tried to save the militia, pulled back into his main base, made a huge push over onto this gold mine, took a big fight, didn't waste the ceasefire, needs the ceasefire for that lightning weapons. Maybe, just maybe then he would have been okay, but unfortunately for Mosca, not able to make it work in this one, and Looki takes the dub. Congratulations to him. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this series. It was really fun for me to watch. If you did, make sure you leave a comment and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.